It's May 1945. At last, the Nazi shadow is lifting. War has devastated the continent. Now, everyone just wants to get back to living again. But though the guns are now quiet, the Second World War isn't over yet. The Third Reich may have surrendered, but the violence just won't seem to end. For a long time yet, Europe will remain soaked in blood. No sooner have the arms been laid down than another war looms.
An iron curtain has descended across the continent.
And it won't be long before the rising tide of Nazism has given way to another equally redoubtable tyranny. After all the joy of the 8th of May 1945, Europe is still in the grip of violence. Purges are costing the lives of thousands of victims. The Allies are faced with enormous challenges. More than 40 million people have been displaced during the conflict, and now they all want to go home. Germany is now occupied and divided into 4 zones, and people are still hungry. How can a whole devastated continent be rebuilt? In the cities, the cleanup operation will go on for months. In 1946, though, it all picks up speed. The torturing buildings, the old bunkers, are all destroyed. Sometimes, with a bit of help from the zoo. And winding through the ruins, little railways haul off the tons and tons of rubble. It's a surreal wonderland, a land of childhood regained. And in Warsaw, the trams are running again. It draws an applauding crowd, and many of them are moved to tears. A Polish journalist says of his country, "Wherever you look, you can see the work's begun. A gigantic task has already been accomplished. There are whole stretches cleared of rubble now. The atmosphere is one of noise, dust, and work, but also one of hope." The cities are emerging from chaos. Stalingrad, too, is coming back to life. After all, so far, the wounds of war are being patched up. There are schools opening amidst the ruins. In Berlin, the women are the ones going back to school. Since manpower is scarce, they're learning the art of masonry. There's stuff to build, but nothing to build it with. So they recycle. They just clean up all the old bricks and use them again. There are no colanders, so they use German helmets. And the Panzerfausts, the Nazis' anti-tank launchers, make pretty good saucepans. They get more mileage out of those old tires, in the form of brand new soles for their shoes. Even the public gardens of the Reichstag are being transformed into allotments. And the metro's up and running again, lit by improvised skylights. As the months roll by, people are getting used to the post-war world. Berlin's learning to live with its ruins. As one Berlin woman puts it, just knowing we've survived is what gives us the strength to start again from scratch. It'll take more than 20 years to rebuild everything. But even in the news bulletins, you can feel the optimism.
Frühling in Berlin. Die Fassade fiel, aber dahinter blieb Lebensmut, Unerschütterlichkeit und die Fähigkeit, sich anzupassen. Sogar die Blumenkästen werden begossen, wie eh und je. Kinder sind erfinderisch. Die Trümmerstätte wird zur Spielwiese. Im Schöneberger Stadtpark stört kein Bild der Zerstörung das Idyll von Sonne, Lenz und Liegekur. Und im Tiergarten flanieren wieder die Liebespaare, der Hofstaat jedes Frühlings.
All this optimism hides a lot of problems, though. There are still hundreds of thousands of lost orphans. In Berlin, Rome, Naples, and Milan, there are at least 200,000 homeless children, and almost 1 million in Poland. In Germany's Soviet zone, news campaigns are launched to try and find their families.
Karl-Heinz Leier aus Berlin. Frau Stroll aus Rastenburg in Ostpreußen.
Das Kind ist namenlos. Gefunden am 24. Januar 1945 auf dem Bahnhof Pankow-Schönhausen. Ein 18 Monate altes Mädchen, gefunden vor über einem Jahr auf einem Feld in Wandlitzsee.
Christiane Körber aus Danzig. Meine Mutter hat sich vergiftet und mein Vater war zuletzt auf Fehler auf einem Kriegsschiff. Wir suchen unsere Muttis und Vatis. Bitte helft sie uns wiederfinden.
The campaign will be broadcast right up until the 1950s and help around 300,000 children find their families again.
Nous avons passé par de durs moments, nous avons encore des embêtements, et dans le pays, bien des gens vous diront, ça ne tourne pas rond.
With the continent inching slowly out of the shadows, people are keen to build a new world, to get the most out of life.
Et simplement, sans façon,
A young French girl writes, "Everything that represented a post-war first caused a scramble. Bananas, lottery tickets, fireworks. People were rushing off to the fun fair, to the circus, any excuse to get out and get together."
tout remarchera à brève échéance, il y aura du bonheur et le printemps reviendra.
It's a time of reforms. Italy abolishes its monarchy, which will soon be replaced by a republic. France ushers in a new regime, the Fourth Republic. At the same time, in France and Belgium, women at last get the vote. And in both France and Great Britain, the banks, public transport, and energy suppliers are all nationalized. The aim is to transform the economy, to make sure it's working in the interests of everyone, of the nation, and of general prosperity. In France, the social security system is put in place, while in Britain, the National Health Service is founded to provide free health care for all.
This will include X-ray if it's found necessary.
Such was the destruction that architects now want to rethink whole cities. In Britain, to ease the strain on the big cities, a 1946 law decrees that new towns are to be built based on radical new concepts of town planning. France follows suit. Near Marseille, Le Corbusier erects his radiant city. Meanwhile, Le Havre, obliterated by the war, is coming back to life. Things won't be back to normal for a while yet, but the reconstruction has begun. Another hopeful sign for the future is the steep rise in births. The days ahead now look more promising, less bleak. In the East, too, people are dreaming of a new life. But there it's Moscow that'll be calling the tune. The Eastern European states were liberated by the Red Army. So as far as Stalin's concerned, they're under his control. To establish his power there without making waves, his strategy is to get communists into positions of power. In Poland, in Czechoslovakia, in Bulgaria, in Hungary, the communist parties are deploying their pawns. Quietly, they're taking all the key positions: justice, the military, home affairs, in an ever more repressive machinery of state. In public, at least, the only one who seems alarmed by all this is former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. In March 1946, invited to speak in Fulton, Missouri, Churchill loudly and clearly condemns the rapidly encroaching Soviet menace.
From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent.
Nobody's listening, though. Eastern Europe's governments are blind to the Red Peril. They're still haunted by the barbarity of the Nazis. In their eyes, Germany is still the real enemy. In Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Romania, and Poland, these post-war years are the occasion for a vast settling of old scores. And the targets of all this are their German immigrant populations. They may have just arrived or have been there for decades, but from now on, they're persona non grata. In Czechoslovakia, in a liberated Prague, the entire German-speaking population is ordered to wear distinctive swastikas or white armbands. They're forbidden to go to the theater, to eat in restaurants, or even walk in the park, and they're put under curfew too. And the Czech authorities soon go even further. Stripped of their nationality, huge numbers of Germans are now deported. There are so many refugees that whole families are rounded up into transit camps. The Allies make no comment. Indeed, British Prime Minister Clement Attlee declares that any means are valid that will make the Germans understand the total and irrevocable nature of their defeat. But the exodus is not always as peaceful as these images might suggest. The Czech authorities accuse the Germans of all kinds of wickedness. When, at Usti in the Sudetenland, a munitions dump explodes, all fingers immediately point to the Germans. A manhunt is quickly launched.